Alright, now we're just going to open up the box so that we may get the sweet, succulent model parts that lie within, so that we may build a T-3485. Of course, you can see that the camera work is pretty bad. It's kind of hard to record when you have a music stand with a camera on it over your head, because, of course, that's the only kind of camera setup I have. I'm going to work on it, but yeah, but you know, the other problem is also having to wear a gas mask, or rather a respirator, to avoid dying from the fumes that come from the solvent in the glue that I use. But other than that, it's going to be a rather fun model to build. As you can see, there are not many parts to this model. There's only, like, I think 55 or something, which is a good amount for beginners, but also this is going to be a pain in the ass to paint later, as I do not have a airbrush or anything to cover such a large surface, which is why I tend to use 1:72 scale. Now it's time to clean up the edges with a sanding sponge and a hobby blade. Always remember to clean up your mold lines and any jagged edges so your model comes out looking clean and nice. I did not record myself cutting these out, but here they are. Now we're just going to finish the bottom of the hull and all the road wheels, and we'll move on to the top part and the turret later. I did have trouble putting that one part in, but with some glue and an excessive amount of force, I managed to get it into place. Now that we've gotten that done, we're going to move on to the turret, which you can see has some very nice cast texture. I was actually planning on using the putty to make that texture, but I don't want to go over the texture that's originally there, and I don't want to, like, you know, screw it up. The actual barrel for the tank was a little weird, because it is three parts. One of them is an end cap for it that makes up the end of the barrel, of course, and then it's two other parts. I don't see why they didn't just make it two parts, or like one single part, which is not that hard to do, but I guess it looks nice either way. I did skip a few steps in recording because I lost some of the really small parts for the vision ports on the commander's cupola, but I found them. It took forever because one of them fell in a crack and stuff, but now that I've gotten it done, it looks pretty good. The inside of the hatch here has very nice detail, but sadly I will not be exposing any of it because I really want this to be a closed up tank and stuff. Plus, the figure I was going to put inside of it for like a commander, he had an unfortunate fate. I melted his fucking face off with acetone while trying to clean him off from a failed previous attempt at painting him. But anyway, the tank will hopefully look good when it's done and painted, and yeah. During the process of cutting out the exhaust, I did bend one of them a little bit, but hopefully it'll look aesthetically pleasing in the end, like a little damage. And remember, kids, never haphazardly cut out your pieces or they will end up looking like shit. This is what the top part of the tank looks like. Almost completed. I just have to add the fuel tanks, and we'll be peachy. Also, yes, I did drop the turret, and it did break, but I fixed it. Here's the tank with all its details added. As you can see, the the vents, I think, on the back have a little bit of putty around them. I know it's a little messy, but I'll fix it later. It should look nice, and then I'll paint it and add the decals. The only reason I used the putty was because there's some pretty big gaps in between the parts. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'll see you next time when we paint and weather this lovely piece of plastic.